Hey guys, this is Charles from Guitarskills.com, and this will be one of the coolest guitar lessons you'll ever watch, and here's why. I'm going to teach you how to read rhythms on the guitar. There's a serious need for that online because so many lessons here on YouTube just don't focus around how to read rhythm, and so many tab sites out there don't even indicate any rhythm whatsoever, and that is a big problem because rhythm is one of the main components of music. So we're going to get right into that and show you how to read rhythm so that you can speed up your guitar learning process, whether you want to learn songs, whether you want to play blues, whether you want to play rock, or whether you want to play fingerstyle guitar. No matter what kind of music you want to do, you got to have some good rhythm, and the way to getting good rhythm is learning how to read rhythms. All right, so let's imagine for a second, someone asks you, what are the three main components of music? What would you tell them? Maybe you just want to take a second there, think about that real quick, maybe pause the video and just think about what would you tell somebody the three main components of music are. All right? Well, I'm going to give it to you today. There's three things. There's rhythm, which is on a guitar we do with our strumming hand, or whether we pick stuff, whatever the case may be, but we have to add some rhythm. Then you get harmony, which is when you have a bunch of single notes played together, which gives you chords, and then you have melody. That's melody, right? So if you put rhythm, harmony, and melody together, that makes up music. Now, these three things aren't necessarily mutually exclusive. The Star Wars theme I just played there, that had obviously was a melody, very memorable melody, but there was a component of rhythm to that, and even some implied harmony in terms of the chords. Okay, but we won't get into any of this serious stuff. I just wanted to show you that without rhythm, you don't have music. Now, whenever you learn to play new songs, whether you get a songbook with some chords written in it, or maybe you go and download some tabs somewhere, most of the time, the kind of typical resources, let's call it that, on the internet does not indicate rhythm whatsoever. Even most chord charts kind of notating songs. And that's a problem because now your brain literally just sees chords and lyrics, or your brain just sees numbers. But it's really, if you want to take the numbers, which is a melodic component, there's a certain rhythm that needs to be played in order for those rhythms, for that melody to sound like the melody. Or if you're playing chords, whatever you're going to do, you need to be able to play the right rhythm. So the cool thing happens when your brain can actually see what the rhythm looks like. Then it's so much easier to internalize it and then play it. Now, I'm going to be honest, there are some people out there that just has kind of a natural knack for rhythm guitar playing, or just for rhythm in general, and they don't need to be able to read rhythm. But for most of us out there who weren't born with that natural rhythmic kind of just a sense of rhythm, this is going to be very helpful because, like I just said, I can play something and you just hear it and then try and play, you know, the same thing. You are most likely going to be able to get it, but it's going to take a long time because there's going to be some trial and error, and it's not going to be easy for you to remember that rhythm, as opposed to if you were able to see that rhythm as well as hear it and then do it. You see, then it becomes kind of like a threefold or like a three-dimensional learning process. You can see it, you can hear it, and then you can play it. All right, now before you can actually start to see rhythms, you need to just know what all the symbols mean, how to play different note values, and just kind of see how all of that stuff fits into what we call a bar of music. So that is what we're going to get into now, and I'm going to show you a graphic on screen here, and we're going to quickly run through various components within this graphic. So here you can see number one, that says 4/4. So that is literally just what we call a time signature. The top number tells us how many beats there are on a bar, and the bottom number tells us what kind of beats those are. So in that case, 4/4 tells me that we have 4 beats in a bar, and each one of those beats has got the value of a quarter note. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. In fact, that is what you can see next up. The second thing there, those are 2 quarter notes. Now you can see that these notes don't have the little round note heads. Instead, it's just what we call a rhythm slash. And that is because in this instance, we're not really focused around what kind of note it is. Instead, we are just going to look at the rhythmic component of that note. So that's a rhythm slash. Next up, we have these downstrokes and upstrokes. So number 3 there, that's a downstroke when something has 2 lines facing downward. Or if it looks like a V and there's 2 facing upwards, that's an upstroke. So now I have down, up. Now, number 5 here, this is an 8th note. So as you can see, that is right there, the note head. Okay, so we are indicating that as an 8th note because it has a stem that's connected with another note. So we're going to get into the note values in a second component there. But in order for you to tell different notes apart, is you need to look at the note head. As you can see, number 5 and number 6, that is the stem of the note. Now, sometimes when you have notes that aren't grouped together, that little stem can become a flag. And that's what you see there with number 7. That is the flag of an 8th note, for example. So number 8, there you can see that the flags of a series of grouped 8th notes together, that's going to form that beam. So if you have 4 8th notes next to each other, you're not going to write 4 notes each with the flags. Instead, those flags are going to be formed together as a beam. All right. Now, number 9, some strumming patterns, they might have a rhythmic count written below the actual rhythm. Most of the time, you probably wouldn't have that, but whenever we do teaching stuff, we try and add that sometimes because then you can actually see what that looks like. Next up, you have an accent sign. That's number 10. And that means you're going to play that note slightly louder than others. For example, if you want to play something like this. That's when you're going to use accents. Number 11 there, that is a rest. If you literally just rest your hand on the strings like that, then it's going to mean that there shouldn't be any sound there. And number 12, that's a tie. And the tie is when you group the value of one note to another note. So that means the second note, you're not going to play it. You're literally just going to tie to that note. And then number 13 here is when you have these 2 dots at the beginning and at the end of the bar, that is a repeat sign. So whatever is written, between the starting and the ending repeat signs, that you're going to play that twice. So now if I play this strumming pattern for you, it's going to sound like this. Check it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so now you should have a good idea of what all the symbols mean. Now, in that section, I talk a lot about note values. So it's important for you to know what note values are. So let's check out different note values. All right, so let's check this out. The very first note here, as you can see, it's not a solid note head and it doesn't have a stem. That is a whole note. It's going to last for 4 beats. So if I count like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm only going to play one of those whole notes. So that'll be sounding like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what does that mean? I'm playing a note and I'm letting it ring for 4 beats because it's not a solid note head and it has no stem, which tells me that that is a whole note which will ring for the whole bar. In this case, it is 4 beats, right? So that is a whole note. The next kind of note we have there is a half note. Still, it's not a solid note head, but it has a stem, which means this note will last for 2 beats. And if I count like 1, 2, 3, 4, of course, I'm going to play it twice because it lasts for 2 beats. And it'll sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is a half note. So the difference between a whole note and a half note is that a whole note lasts for 4 beats and a half note lasts for 2 beats. Next up, we have, looks very similar to an half note, but instead of the note head being a hollow note head, this is now a solid note head, which is a quarter note. And a quarter note lasts for 1 beat. So now I'm going to play 1 note per beat. Check it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so now we have 3 different kinds of notes. A whole note, which lasted for 4 beats, then a half note that lasted for 2 beats, and a whole note that lasts for 1 beat. Our next note is an 8th note, which is a solid note head with a stem and a flag, or when we join them together, those flags form beams, like we discussed in the previous section. So check this out, an 8th note, I have 2 8th notes per beat, which means if I have 4 beats in a bar, I'm going to have 8 8th notes in a bar. And can you see the similarity here? 8 notes, 8th notes. That's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And then we have 16th notes. So solid note head with a stem and 2 flags, which becomes 2 beams. And there, a 16th note, there's 4 16th notes per beat. So that's going to be 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. Right, so what I've got here is a metronome on my iPhone. It's set at 80 beats a minute. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on. You should hear it through the mics. And what's going to happen here is I'm going to play each bar twice. So 1 bar of a whole note, I'll play that twice. 2 bars of half notes, 2 bars of quarter notes, 2 bars of 8th notes, and 2 bars of 16th notes, so that you can hear the variation between these note values. 1, 2, 3, 4. So as you can see, that's the different kinds of note values: whole notes, half notes, quarter notes, 8th notes, and 16th notes. Okay, this video is getting a bit long, so we'll stop here now. But if you followed along the whole video, you'll know what all the different signs are, you'll know what the different note values are, and you'll know the importance of learning how to read rhythm. So in future videos, we're going to look at some strumming patterns where you can show you how you can combine different note values together in order to actually figure out what it should sound like, and as well what it looks like, and that way you can pick up new rhythms really, really fast. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Give us a thumbs up if you did, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and check out the description. There's some additional information for you on how you can get some more content not found here on YouTube. Thanks so much, guys. If you'd like to get more lessons like this, then you should register for a free Guitarskills.com membership today. Simply click the link in the description box and you'll get instant access to our private members area. And don't forget to hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Comment below and let me know what else you'd like me to cover so I can give you what you need. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel because I'm going to keep these videos coming.